Right, next we have former pro rider Philippe Gilbert. He has been found guilty of assault and battery along with 3 others after an incident on a training ride when he was still riding for BMC. The retired road race world champion was training on the course of Liège-Bastogne-Liège in Belgium with teammate Loïc Vliegen. They were close passed by a motorist. Loïc was thrown to his left when the driver close passed. They then caught up with the driver a short time later as he was sat in traffic. They had heated words and a physical row broke out in which Gilbert fractured his finger. All 3, the driver and the 2 cyclists, were also found guilty of assault and battery over the fight, which actually happened in April 2016. So that's a long time ago. The driver was also found guilty of deliberately obstructing the traffic. Gilbert was awarded €500 and Loïc was awarded €1,000. Both cyclists were ordered to pay the driver and a passenger a token sum of €1.
Sweet.
I feel like you've probably got some road rage incidents from historic stories.
Nah, never any rage from my side. Although I wanted to. But I've been chased by people before after like they've close passed or shouted something out the window and you've caught them up. And then there was one time I was with Lawrence and a guy got out of his car and started chasing us on foot, which obviously was never going to go well for him. He ended up really far away from his car by the end. A long walk back.
I've actually got one. I ended up reporting someone to the police.
Really?
It was a long time ago. It's probably like, it'll be pushing 15 years now, I reckon. Commuting in London. So it wasn't like on a training ride or anything. It was literally just commuting through Hackney on a single speed. And a white van guy decided that I had like cut in front of him or something or other. And then drove alongside me, called me the C word, then shouted at me, "I'm going to kill you," before swinging his van into me and hitting the curb. So I whacked the brakes on and he ploughed into the curb. He then swung his van around into the middle of the road, blocking both sides of traffic, and started shouting at me for a while. So I was just looking at him going, well, this is good. Excellent. Let's see what he does here. And then eventually drove off. And I remember saying his number plate over and over in my head so I didn't forget it. And then I got to work. It was at the point where I was so desensitized to road rage that it just didn't bother me. I was just like, all right, cool, yeah, whatever, get on with it. I want to go to work. And then when I told some people in work, they're like, you've got to report this. Like, you have to report that. I was like, well, there's no point. Nothing's going to happen.
And you've forgotten the number plate.
No, I had remembered it.
Oh, really?
I reported it to the police. Someone then came over my house a couple of days later to do like a proper report. They then got back to me a week later and said, yeah, we tracked it down to a company that owns the van. There was no confirmation of who drove, so there's nothing we can do. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So as expected, nothing happened.
Yeah, pretty standard response. Yeah. I like that. You do get desensitized, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm now at the point where I'm very calm when anything like that happens. And I definitely won't stop or even try to talk to someone.
It's pointless.
Because it's pointless. Mm. They're different people when they're behind the wheel of a car.
They're also...
It makes people bad.
We are also, as cyclists, very vulnerable. And therefore, it's in our interests to not argue with someone in a vehicle that can kill us.
Philippe Gilbert doesn't think so.
To be fair, his mate got pushed into. It said Loïc was thrown to his left when the driver close passed.
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
Would that change your mind?
Yeah, I did get angry and shout at a man in a video once when we were in Switzerland when he fully deserved it, and I put a camera in his face. It's quite good. Sometimes they just need to be told, but you have to assess the situation carefully.
I think it depends. Like if I was riding with Francis and he had a close pass and came off his bike, I would probably laugh. If it was Emily, however, well, if it was Francis, I would laugh and then make sure I got it on film. If it was Emily, I would probably instantly go into rage mode and then I would double track because I know Emily wouldn't. Actually, I feel like there might actually be an example of this. I think there was one, wasn't there, where I was really, really angry and you told me not to do anything. So I didn't do anything.
Yes, I would rather it not be escalate. Even if it's someone else's fault, I don't want to have to deal with the confrontation and your rage.
Nothing good can happen.
No.
At all.
You are at a disadvantage in that situation. If someone's proved that they are ignorant, they're going to close past you and potentially hurt you. It's not a situation you want to be in.
No. But what I am going to start doing, so I'm ramping. So the winter in the Northeast is a bit of a beast and it's challenging. It makes me not want to commute at this point of the year Come the spring, my plan is to commute into the studio a lot more by bike, and I'm going to put the Garmin Varia on my bike, and I'm actually going to start recording it and start submitting stuff to the police. Because at the moment, there are lots of cases of the police actually doing stuff about it, whereas 10, 15 years ago, I'm not even sure you were able to submit this sort of footage.
At least fines and things, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's my plan. I'm going to start submitting it in that way.
There was one instance. Do you remember we talked about this in a podcast a while ago where there was 2 young people on a moped that, they were going to rob us of our bikes, but we saw them in time and we stopped and we turned around and went the other way. If I had been with Tony and not you, we would have carried on riding and that would have ended very differently. So there is situations where I don't know. It would have been different.
I think probably what you would have discovered is actually they're having like a cheeky little spliff on the side of the road.
I wish I could believe that, but nah, they were 100% after the bikes.
They weren't.
They were.
They would. They were probably. Well, they might have been.
They 100% were.
If you'd been with Tony, you would have found out for sure.
We would have found out.
Yeah.
Philippe Gilbert. So I mean, we have just said nothing good will come of it, but Philippe Gilbert and Loic have just been paid to beat a guy up.
Yeah, but I guess they'll have a criminal record.
Yeah, they also will have a criminal record. That's correct.
Do you think Philippe Gilbert cares as like one of the highest paid riders ever? Probably not.
I don't know. Depends if he wants to become a teacher, I guess.
I wouldn't want to fight him.
DBA.
Why?
DBS check.
Yes, CBA check. I called it DBS.
Can't be us check. CBA check. I would have a CBA check. I would pass.
Here's a question for you. So you just said you wouldn't want to fight Philippe Gilbert.
What cyclist would you want to fight?
Which pro cyclist would you want to fight?
Chris Froome.
Why?
I just feel like we've talked about him so much that it would be a fun fight. It would be an interesting fight because he has got good reach, but he's also very, very skinny.
He is, yeah.
So I'm intrigued to find out what the result would be.
I think you wouldn't get anywhere near him.
Because he's too fast.
He'd just be picking you off at distance.
Sting like a bee.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I want to see it.
Someone else we've been talking about recently that I think would beat you up is Geraint Thomas.
Definitely. Good. Compared to Chris Froome, he's like Ronnie Coleman.
He's so skinny.
Yeah, but compared to Chris Froome, he is like Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah. Well, he'd still definitely beat you up.